Initializing caution files. Please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Alright, RAGL Minions match on its way. Dodder versus Mr. C. I think Mr. C, definitely Mr. C was here previous season as well. Very enthusiastic. Really wants to learn this game. Asks a lot of questions in the academy, listens to everyone's advice and feedback. And here he is playing his second season in Minions. And on the other hand, we have Dodder. Dodder has been pretty active as far as I know, especially since... I think I've seen Dodder play at least since Season 9, since the time that I started playing OpenRA. But he's been here ever since. He's been recently a lot more active in between Season 10 and Season 11. And I recently played against him, I think 2 weeks ago, and he was a pretty tough opponent. Like, he became pretty strong. Some small mistakes here and there, but hey, I make those as well. But he did lose a lot. I think one of the most crucial things was after I took a pretty bad engagement, he felt really confident and just moved straight into my base, and I just microed the hell out of my pillboxes, and that gave me a chance to come back. Well, let's see how this will turn out. Okay, he's going for the middle oil first, Mr. C. And Dodder went for the oil in the back. I'm not sure which one I like better. I'm actually surprised that none of these two players are trying to interrupt the engineer. I mean, it is two options. We got option A, go for the middle oil first and go for the one in the back later, or you go for the close one first and then you go for the middle one later. In either way, engineer has to pass this area or this area. Unless you go in for a huge detour, which both players did not do. So much, I'm surprised we actually did not see any riflemen here. Like, even having riflemen here could be really good for interrupting these rocket soldiers, for example. Same for Mr. C. Rocket soldiers could have been eliminated. But both players just playing very passive. And I guess, I'm not sure if this is true for a lot of people, but how defensive do you want to play to get the maximum value out of defender's advantage? I think maybe that's the reason why some people like to play defensively, in my opinion. Like, if one of those two players just went into the other's army, of course they were going to lose. Hey, that's me. Also, I think the kennel could probably be sold at this point. I think he only built one dog, which is still alive, so even though Mr. C has the flak, I think Dodder, yeah, Dodder made, or Dodder is falling behind. I think he messed up something because Mr. C is already on 4 harvesters and Dodder is just on 3, and he just made his first APC or light vehicle. So now, because of the flak, Mr. C has the vision advantage and he's chipping away at some units. Here comes the APC. Oh, Dodder misses all the rockets as well, and the final rocket kills that APC. Ooh, that's a pretty exposed SD here. Oh, wait a second. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, Mr. C sold his ref. Interesting. Now he's gonna finish off. Smart from Dodder. Went for the barrel, but it didn't do that much. Dodder's going for the oil right now. He has to be fast, though. Why did he... Oh, he's deciding to capture it, but he should keep the flak in position. Dog goes down, but yeah, now he's gonna be fucked. He's fucked. The oil is providing vision, but not all of it, though. Not all of it. Engineer went down because of this rifle on top, which I think Mr. C knew that was there. But now he's gonna finish off the oil instead. And both players pretty much lost their double ref army. Idle MCV from Dodder and no idle MCV from Mr. C. Mr. C is a little bit more on point with his macro. But now, while I'm saying that, Dodder does have his ref ready already. And Mr. C still has 12 seconds to go. There's the eco slide as well. And the eco slide from Mr. C. However, Mr. C is going to have a bit more issues since he went for the core patch in the middle. It's only one mine that's gonna die out pretty... Oh! There we go. These bitches were being lazy though. Alright, well, I do like this from Mr. C, and at the same time I do not. I like that he's going for the middle to try and get some map control, but what he should have done after placing this ref is just place this MCV pretty aggressively. Maybe place it over here, or place it over here, so you can get a little bit more map control. And after you have done that, after you got that MCV in place, to base crawl, I don't know, maybe to protect your oil and keep this safe as well, then you move out the main MCV to get that eco. Let's have a look at the combat tab in the meantime. Pretty even. Mr. C is up a couple of units, 1k assets to be exactly. Still has one of his two of his oils. Dodder playing pretty passively, to be honest. I like this heavy tank from Mr. C. It's going to try and harass these harvesters. In the meantime, Mr. C is bringing his harvesters, but that is going to crush his eco. I'm surprised. I did see this from him before. Like, there was a... Why is he undeploying? I think he's gonna screw himself. Why is he also bringing his harvesters? I don't understand. I think, like I was saying, I saw this last time as well, where I think he groups his harvesters early on with his infantry to go for like an early push. And I think he did it again. He forgot to ungroup his harvesters. In the meantime, he killed that refinery from Dodder, which is going to decrease his eco by a lot. Oh, this MCV is gonna get caught. Oh my god. Oh, he allowed him to deploy, but come on, repair that shit as well. Repair that shit. Oh, Dodder is not even going for it. So that is a vision advantage for Mr. C. Look at the difference. This is insane. That's gonna give a huge advantage to Mr. C, and he's going to tear that army apart. Oh my god. This is incredible. In the meantime, Dodder has taken this expansion away from Mr. C. I can't believe that he moved his entire army the way to do so. And in the meantime, but there's no army from Dodder to defend his main. And Mr. C is feeling confident. He's going forward. He builds an airfield right there. What the fuck? In the meantime, oh no! What is going on? There's a small army from Dodder moving into the main. Is going to do exactly the same. So we're going to have a base trade probably. Mr. C is not realizing that he put his waypoint all the way to his oil. In the meantime, he's going to over here harassing this as well. He could potentially use this harvester to tank for his army, but he's just going to kill those harvesters to deny eco. In the meantime, Mr. C is trying his best to deal with all these issues at the same time. He realizes he doesn't realize that his waypoint is still there though. They're giving each other high fives and they're switching places. He might be able to deal with this if he can deal with the tanks in time. He does have a huge rocket ratio, but not anymore. In the meantime, Mr. C is going to be able to take out the War Factory, but Dodder already has a War Factory at his expansion. This is a crazy game. Players are both floating 9k cash. War Factory is going down here for Mr. C, and in the meantime, Mr. C is cleaning up the main base from Dodder. But the same is going to happen over here as well. He might be able to stop it in time with this newly fresh army that he sent back from the expansion to clean it up. Should also try and learn to repair his structures. This is a crazy game so far, very clutch. And it's only the first game yet. That SD is going to go down by a lack of repair and not looking at the tanks in time. What is this game? That MCV also, this MCV is still not being repaired. And these two harvesters has been long distance mining for a very, very long time. I think actually Dodder might be looking better at this, even though this was pretty much Mr. C's game. But he handled it. He handled the counter pretty poorly, and because of that, he might lose because Dodder's macro is still on point. He rebuilt his War Factory before he lost the first War Factory. He rebuilt his SD pretty fast, so that means he can just continue going for tanks, but he's not building anything out of his War Factory either. There's the first yak coming into play. Also, come on man, repair your structures. It's the D key. Go big D. It's entertaining for sure. Would have loved to see the MCV move up here and secure this position instead of all this long distance mining. But maybe the Yaks can save him. He's going to need a War Factory, maybe build some V2s. Also, he should use the Yaks a little bit better so he can use them as vision. But he's got some army over here. Dodder retreated his harvester, so actually I don't think Dodder... No, Dodder is actually in a lot of trouble in terms of eco. He has been killed off completely. Of every single patch, he has been chased away by a handful of army. There's an army over here. There is now an army over here. He should deal with the ref actually instead. If he goes for the ref, it's gonna deny a lot more eco as well. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Let's look at the combat tab. One more 20k for Mr. C and 7k for Dodder. But Mr. C is giving him some way to come back at this though. Heavy tanks are going to try to go for the crushes. Now one Husky is going to keep it safe. Another crush. Rockets are evading most of it. Heavy tanks are just dying, crumbling like cookies. Look at this vetted army killing all the structures. How many structures does Dodder have left? He's expanding like crazy over here. Still has a double mine patch that he can enjoy from. Or of, I should say. But the problem that Dodder has is his infantry production is on this side and his tank production is on that side. There we go. Yaks are going for the MCV this time, so that MCV will be killed. Ooh, there was a Thief over there, but the Thief failed to get the heavy tank. Heavy tank is probably going to stay alive long enough to deal with this infantry, and it does. In fact, it even stays up alive. Mr. C has taken back this game, it seems. It's gonna die. Yeah, he got crushed by a cliff. Get fucked, rifleman. Oh, Yaks can go in for the kill. Yep. Do they see the MCV escape? Yep, there's the MCV. Mr. C doesn't give a fuck. He's sending his infantry straight to hell. And I mean the flame towers. No, he used force fire. Okay, nice recovery, but didn't finish it off completely. That yak is also empty. No ammo for that. But regardless, it should be over. Gifty, gifty, gifty. Yeah, boy. Tea time. Missing the action though. Dodder calls the GG. Mr. C is going to take this first game.
Battle control terminated.
This game was full of surprises. Yeah, that was insane. Hope you guys enjoyed that one as well. And yeah, this is not a standard side-by-side game. Very true. That was very entertaining to say the least. And you could have been right. He could have been using the thieves to get some cash. Because he was really low on cash. Like, the eco harassment from Mr. C was on point, and because of that, that's the only reason he was able to stay in that game so long. Because Dodder's macro was on point though. But yeah, he was having some issues of his own as well. Very nice attack from Mr. C onto the main there. And very clutch there with keeping that MCV alive, even though it was not being repaired. That was tilting me so badly. Alright, let's see if the boys are ready for game number 2. Probably watching the replays or something like that. Or maybe taking a breather. Who knows? God fucking damn it, man. Even I need to get a breather from that game. Holy shit. Entertaining to say the least, that's for sure. Alright. Shit. Let's have a look at the RAGL stats in the meantime. How is Minions Alpha looking? Currently we have Eugenator and World Peace actually having played most of the games. Me and Mr. C are actually have played least of the games. Oh wow, I'm the only one so far being undefeated. Eugenator 9 wins, 1 loss, so he's doing pretty well. World Peace as well, he's got currently 5 wins and 3 losses. And then myself, 3rd place with 4 wins, 0 losses. We have Mo with 3 wins, 3 losses. And Triple TP with 3 wins, 5 losses. Hans Nilhal with 3 wins, 5 losses. Dodder with 1 win, 7 losses. And Mr. C with 0 wins and 4 losses. And in 9th place we have Mr. Moods forfeiting the game. No, is that that one map that got used against me by Hans? If you haven't checked it out, it made the RGL highlights of last week. Me versus Hans Nihal. We only played 1 game, unfortunately, because of his connection went. I don't know what happened, but went pretty badly. The 2nd game. Then we decided to redo that game. Hopefully. And then we tried to redo that game in hopes of his connection getting better. And it wasn't the case in the 3rd game either. But he decided to forfeit because in both those games I had the early game control. Like I won the early game twice in a row. So that's why he probably was like, I'll just concede that game. But enough about that. Let's get straight into the 2nd game. And it is that map. It is that. This map is so weird. I can't stress this enough. At the same time, it is pretty interesting. Like, you get a neutral naval yard that you can capture in order to make a transport and oil. And I actually sold it off, but I think that's like probably the worst mistake that you can do. Like, trying to keep that naval yard alive is actually pretty interesting, because I believe all of this water is like accessible. So actually playing as allies here or subs, like you can make missile subs or like cruisers at some point and just fucking gun down this expansion or base or whatever you want to call it. And I sold that off for, well, one, because I think it consumes power, so it's gonna fuck with my build order. That's what I thought initially. And there was something, oh yeah, two, I wanted to cash as well. I just wanted the extra cash for capping it. And I didn't want to, the thing is, I also didn't want to lose a naval yard in the early game, because it would be easier for my opponent to make a new transport and then captures those oils. Alright, but the early game is on the road. Okay. Mr. C was preemptively trying to destroy that oil. Once again, Mr. C already a little bit behind in terms of macro, but he is going to get that naval yard a lot sooner, allowing him to build a transport. Yeah, that does cost him 30 power. That's what I mean. This could fuck with your build order. I see what he's trying to do, though. I think I see what he's trying to do, but he doesn't have the vision to see anything. Can he reach the barrel with the rocket soldier? I think he's able to. Ooh, no war factory production from Mr. C yet. Not good. I think he's too occupied taking, yep. I hope he realizes though, because he's not building harvesters. Yeah, he's going for the barrels, but he's not going to get... Oh, he did get the engineer! Wow! And he doesn't really have vision. I guess I'm assuming he's like just considering the fact that he has his oil, so he's like he's just guessing that Dodder was at the same stage of the game. And he was. He killed it with the barrels, and now he's going to kill the oil regardless. He doesn't want Dodder to get it at all. Kills both of them at once because of the explosion of the oil. Oh my god, even I could learn a thing or two from Mr. C at this point. But he forgot about his war factory production for so long that he just kept building his... Now he has an SD and he doesn't have 4 harvesters, but he is starting production. And I mean, he can, because he has like 2 oil, so it is going to work out-ish, but he's going to be so far behind in terms of eco. Gonna be so far behind. This 3 harvesters versus 5, and Dodder has the ranger here, and I think that Mr. C was building a flak at some point. I'm not sure where it is, but oh wow, terrible positioning from Dodder. Loses, almost loses the ranger, so he's going to abort this engagement, which is pretty sad actually, because if that didn't happen, he could have cleaned this engagement up easily before the flak arrived. But Mr. C is going to keep the naval yard. I wonder, does this give him... Wait, does he even have access to cruisers and
Welcome, my child.
The other thing?
Good to have you back among
Because, like, he's Soviet, so how does that work with an allied naval yard? Yo, Do Mike, thank you for the follow, dude. I appreciate it, and it's good to have you back among the faithful. Ooh, Ranger almost dies. And Mr. C's trying to be sneaky about this. Flak is pretty good against light armor. He's going to block the MCV. Oh, but he's gonna lose it. He's no. Yep, needs to abort. There's the pillbox. Clutch from Dodder once again. Actually, Mr. C could be making naval at this point and dealing with that. Both players actually keeping their naval yard alive. Thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words. Hope you'll stick with us, and hope you enjoyed this game as well. First game has been pretty exciting, and I feel the second game is going to be pretty much the same thing. But Dodder, very nice here. Closing off the middle, walling it off with pillboxes, nice map control. Gonna be hard for Mr. C to do something about that in the middle. And Dodder knows, like, I feel like Dodder was pretty... I don't know, something happened with him the first game, because when I was playing him, he was playing pretty solid. And we're exactly seeing that happen right now as well. Like, he knows that Mr. C knows that he has established a nice fortification in the middle, which means that Mr. C isn't going to attack into that anytime soon. And that's why Dodder is going for this flank. Wow, big brain plays here from Mr. C. He repaired the bridge to go for a sneaky flank, which actually is going to be a lot shorter than what Dodder is doing. Are we going to see a base trade yet again? In the meantime, Dodder is expanding on the right side. And they both have the same idea. Alright, seems like this rifleman owes some money to this heavy tank driver, and this heavy tank driver has enough, he's just going to kill him. In the meantime, the only thing that I have to say about Mr. C, which was the same case in the first game, there is really a lack of scouting, which is not the case for Dodder. He has some scouts, and that's why he knows about this flank, and that is going to be huge. That is going to be huge for sure. But can Dodder stop it in time though? Can he stop it in time? He has changed his infantry production over here. He is trying to set up a nice concave and a nice defense. But is it going to be enough? It might actually though. But it's going to be close. In the meantime, Mr. C doesn't have anything to retaliate against these. He's going to lose his entire main base. And like I said, this actually was enough. Only because of some riflemen scouting it out. Very nice. And his main base is going to fall. And there's nothing that he can do about it. Also, can we just say that Mr. C is already on 4 war factories? Why can't I click on these? Huh. Weird. I can't... That's weird. I guess I'm assuming they're real. Yeah, this is gonna be over. Let's have a look at the combat tab in the meantime. 17k for Dodder, 8k for Mr. C. Mr. C is without a main base, and he only has 1 MCV. And Dodder is now just everywhere right now. He's gonna try and kill off one of the war factories from Mr. C. Mr. C still has the 2 oil sitting here. He's got some nice eco going for him. But yeah, Dodder is on Radar Dome as well. He's building a helipad. He has the potential to go for RTs. He can build some turrets here to deny this eco. And this game is going to be all Dodders. I like the fact that Mr. C is building flex this time because he doesn't have access to an SD. So at least he didn't forget his vehicle production. It's going to take a nice engagement here because of the vision advantage. But our good friend is getting overwhelmed. Mr. C is trying to rely on the harvesters, and he's actually getting some pretty decent crushes, but I don't think he can do anything about this mass medium tank army. Doesn't have the rocket capacity to deal with it, although he's doing a pretty good job. But all of his harvesters are going to fall, and now Mr. C's empire is in shambles. Means I can get a sip of my tea finally. Mr. C calls the GG, and we have a 1-1. Congratulations to Dodder, and congratulations to Mr. C for the first game. I feel this game was a little bit more sided than the first one. Not sure what happened. Maybe Mr. C caught him off guard. Yeah, I know what Dodder is talking about. I got this map got picked against me by Hans, and when I saw this map I was like, what the fuck is this? 2 oils and a naval yard? I wonder who made this map. I'm actually kind of curious.
Battle control terminated.